Hello students, welcome to today's lesson. This is Geography for Grade 9 revision program. Before we start today's lesson, let us see some points from the previous lesson. In the previous lesson, we have seen one part of denudation, that is erosion. Erosion is occurred because of the different natural forces or agents such as moving water, wind, and moving ice or glacier. These are the major agents or causes for the occurrence of erosion. We also discussed types of running water. They are sheet erosion, rill erosion, and gully erosion are the types of running water. Sheet erosion is the wider erosion which easily eroded soft rocks and other materials from the surface of the earth. Rill erosion relatively narrower than the sheet erosion, and rill erosion sometimes called finger deep erosion. This rill erosion or finger deep erosion joined together form gully erosion. Gully erosion forms deep and wide gorges. Most of the time, gully erosion occurs when there is poor agricultural activities practiced. In the previous lesson, we also discussed on the course of the rivers. There are three courses of the river: upper course, middle course, and the lower course. In the upper course, the flow of the river is very fast. It forms waterfall, rapids, V-shaped valley, and gorges. In the middle course, the flow of the river relatively gentle. In the lower course, different features are formed, such as meanders, leaves, oxbow lakes, and deltas are formed. The final deposition of the eroded material from the upper course deposited at the mouth of the river, that is, in the lower course. We also discussed the different land features which is formed by wind erosion and deposition, such as sand dunes, breccias, and loose deposit, also the features which are formed by wind erosion and deposition. For instance, sand dunes are sandy hills which are deposited by the wind. Breccia also the crescent moon-shaped sand hills. Loose deposit is a deposit of fertile soil in the desert area. Students, this is all about what we have learned in the previous lesson. Today we are going to discuss on weather and climate. And at the end of this lesson, you will be able to explain the difference between weather and climate. And you also able to state the main elements of weather and climate. Students, are you ready to start the lesson? Good. Before we proceed to our lesson topic, let us see some points about atmosphere. Atmosphere is the air which is surrounded the Earth's surface. It is an envelope of transparent, which is colorless, tasteless, odorless gases which found above the Earth's surface. The Earth's atmosphere is a mixture of different elements. They are gases, particles of dust, droplets of moistures are the mixture of the Earth's atmosphere. They are collectively known as aerosols. The atmosphere of the gas are different in their volume. So they are classified as major gases, minor gases, and rare gases. The major gases are nitrogen and oxygen. Nitrogen accounts 78%, which is the most dominant gas in the atmospheric gas. The minor gases are argon and carbon dioxide. Rare gases are hydrogen, ozone, and so on. Let us see the structure of the Earth's atmosphere. The Earth's atmosphere is divided into 4 layers. They are troposphere, stratosphere, mesosphere, and thermosphere. These are the 4 layers of the Earth's atmosphere. Let us see each of the atmosphere one by one. Troposphere extends 8 or 16 kilometers above sea level. It contains 75% of the atmospheric mass. Uniformly, the temperature decreases when altitude increases. When you move far away from the Earth, the temperature similarly decreases. The temperature decreases. When altitude increases, the temperature uniformly decreases. Stratosphere is the second layer of the atmosphere. It extends 50 kilometers above the sea levels. It has constant temperature because it contains high concentration of ozone gases. Mesospheres are the third layer of the atmosphere. It extends 50 to 80 or 85 kilometers above the sea level. It is the coldest layer of the atmosphere. Thermosphere is the fourth layer of the atmosphere. It extends 80 to 85 kilometers up to into the space. These are the 4 layers of the atmosphere. Let us proceed to our lesson topic, that is weather and climate. Climate is the average of all weather conditions for a long period of time, whereas weather is the atmospheric condition for a short period of time. Climate includes average temperature, air pressure, humidity, days of sunshine are the main elements for climate. It includes this condition. Weather also includes the daily change in the precipitation, temperature, winds. Climate tells us what usually like the place we live. Let us see the major elements of weather and climate. The major elements of weather and climate are temperature, rainfall, wind, air pressure, clouds, and so on. But for today, we only focus on temperature and rainfall. Temperature is the hotness and the coldness of an object. The only source or the primary source of heat is sun for the Earth and the Earth's atmosphere. The sun energy is called solar radiation. Measuring and recording of air temperature. There is an instrument to measure temperature called thermometer. There are 2 kinds of thermometer, maximum thermometer and minimum thermometer. In the maximum thermometer, there is mercury in the thermometer glasses and it records the highest temperature as it reaches in a day. When the temperature rises or increases, the mercury in the thermometer expands and forces it away into the steam. And when the temperature falls or decreases, none of the mercury returns back to the bulb. This is because the length of the mercury in the thermometer remains constant. In the minimum thermometer, there is alcohol as a liquid. When the temperature falls or decreases, the alcohol returns or moves to the bulb. But when the temperature rises, the alcohol expands and runs past to the index. The minimum thermometer records the lowest temperature which attained in a day. In order to get the average or the mean temperature of a day, we have to add the maximum temperature and the minimum temperature, then divided the sum by 2. For instance, the maximum temperature of a day is 25 degrees Celsius and the minimum temperature of the day is 5 degrees Celsius. In order to get the average temperature of a day, 25 degrees Celsius plus 5 degrees Celsius. Then we divided the sum by 2. Then we get 25 plus 5 is 30 divided by 2 is equal to 15 degrees Celsius is the mean or the average temperature of a day. In order to get the daily range of temperature, range means difference, the daily range of the temperature, we have to subtract from the maximum day temperature the minimum day temperature. As we have seen in the above, the maximum temperature of a day is 25 degrees Celsius maximum. The minimum day temperature 5 degrees Celsius. So we have to subtract from the maximum day temperature the minimum day temperature. 25 degrees Celsius minus 5 degrees Celsius, we get 20 degrees Celsius is the range between the maximum and the minimum. Annual range is the difference between the temperature of the hottest and the coldest months of the year. Annual means year, range means difference. So in order to get the annual range of temperature of a year, we have to subtract from the hottest months the coldest months. For instance, if the hottest month is 40 degrees Celsius and the coldest month negative 10 degrees Celsius, so in order to get the annual range of temperature is equal to the maximum temperature is 40 degrees Celsius minus negative 10 degrees Celsius. Annual range of temperature is equal to 40 degrees Celsius is the maximum temperature of a month. So according to mathematical law, the two minus sign joined together give addition sign. So minus minus become addition 10 degrees Celsius. We get 50 degrees Celsius is the annual range of temperature. Now let us proceed to the second elements of weather and climate, that is rainfall. Rainfall is a liquid precipitation. Any moisture that comes from the cloud falls to the surface we call precipitation. Precipitation may occur in the form of rain, snow, sleet or drizzle. These are the form of precipitation. Precipitation is a part of water cycle or hydrological cycle. Once the liquid changed into vapor by evaporation and transpiration, then it forms water cycle. This is the water cycle. Water cycle is formed from the different water body. It may be from lake, river, ocean, seas, or other parts of the water. It may be from vegetation or soil. Then this liquid changed into vapor by evaporation and transpiration. Then it becomes cool and condensed, formed condensation. Then the condensation form cloud, fell in the form of rain. Let us proceed to types of rainfall. There are three types of rainfall. They are convectional rainfall, orographic rainfall, cyclonic or frontal rainfall. Let us see each of them. Convectional rainfall is formed when the surface ground is heated by the sun and the moisture from the ground and the air also warmed. Then the moisture changed into vapor by heat. Then it becomes cool and condensed, forming cloud, then falls in the form of rain. Orographic rainfall is also another rainfall type. It is formed when the moist air is forced to move over the mountain. The moisture from here forced to move over the mountain and it rises and rises. It becomes cool and condensed, form cloud, then falls in the form of rain. The third type of rainfall is cyclonic or frontal rainfall. Cyclonic or frontal rainfall is formed. The two air masses, the warm air mass and the cool air mass, meet together, but they don't mix freely. They stay separately in the boundary. The warm or the less denser air mass forced to move over the denser or the colder air mass, and it became raise and raise, became cools and expand, form condensation, then cloud forms falls as rainfall. The place where the warm and the cold air mass join together called fronts. Frontal rainfall is very common middle and high latitude or 60 degrees north and south of the equator. This is the cyclonic rainfall or frontal rainfall type. The warm air and the cold air join together form this front. The warmer air or the less denser airs move over the colder air mass, and when it rises over and over it becomes cool and condense form cloud, then falls as a rainfall. Students, now it's time to perform some activities based on the above lesson. The first question says, what is the difference between weather and climate? The second question says, what are the main elements of weather and climate? Students, are you ready to perform these activities? Good. Hello again. Did you manage to name the main elements of weather and climate and identify the difference between weather and climate? Well done. Let us check your answer together. The difference between weather and climate is the time or the duration of the period. Climate is the average of all weather conditions for a long period of time, whereas weather is the atmospheric condition for a short period of time. This is the difference between weather and climate. The second answer, the main elements of weather and climate are temperature, rainfall, air pressure, wind, cloud, etc. are the main elements of weather and climate. For today, we are focused only temperature and rainfall. Students, were all your answers correct? Good job. This is all about for today. We have seen the major elements of weather and climate, the difference between weather and climate, the types of rainfall. There are 3 types of rainfall: cyclonic rainfall, convectional rainfall, orographic rainfall. And we have seen some points about atmosphere, the atmospheric layer. Troposphere, stratosphere, mesosphere, and thermosphere are the 4 layers of the atmosphere. And we also discussed the mixture of the Earth's atmosphere. Gas, water droplet, dust particle are the mixture of the Earth's atmosphere, and they are collectively called aerosols. For next program, we will discuss the other elements of weather and climate. Until then, goodbye.